Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're down at Hendrick BMW Charlotte. We get to take a look at this 2022 BMW 740i. So huge shout out to them for providing this luxury sedan for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. That link is down in the description. This 740i here is finished off in carbon black metallic, and it has a list price right over $96,000. Underneath the hood for the 740i, you'll find the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder twin power turbo engine. This is paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission, and it pumps out 335 horsepower around 5,500 RPM and 330 pound-feet of torque as low as 1,500 RPM. This is rear-wheel drive. It weighs in right around 4,200 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds up to its top speed of 155 miles an hour. And it has a fuel capacity of 20.9 gallons. You can expect to see around 22 miles per gallon in the city and 29 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 126.4 inches. Its overall length is 207.4. It has a width of 74.9 and a height of 58.2 inches. As we work our way to the exterior styling now for this 740i, let's start off front and center with the kidney design for the grille. You'll see the surround on this model is finished off in a dark chrome trim, which gives it a really nice accent against this exterior black. This also has active grille shutters, so this middle piece here will open just to provide even more cooling to this engine. And you can see the integrated forward-facing camera is nicely placed right in the middle, and then we have all the parking sensors running throughout the lower section of the bumper. This also has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. You'll see the turn signal is the upper strip here, and then the LED DRLs have a really nice C-shaped design running underneath the headlight and the high beam. The housing itself has a really nice sleek design to it as well, and you can see all the bodywork surrounding it there. There's also some more of that brushed trim on each corner where you can see the parking sensors, and there's plenty of more mesh to provide even more cooling and better airflow. You can see those functional air inlets on the outer corners, as well as the 2 large ones right in the middle of the grille. This even has a forward-facing sensor as part of all the technology features that are offered. And then you can see all the contoured lines in the lower section, just giving it a really clean look, matching nicely with the subtle lines that come down the hood. And then working our way to the side, as part of the M Sport package, we get these upgraded 20-inch wheels. You can see the multi-spoke design as well as the 2-tone pattern. We even have the blue brake calipers with the M logo on them. This has body-colored side mirrors with the integrated turn signal and a camera underneath each one. I will show that camera system later on in today's video. This does have a full moonroof as well. You can see all of the trim surrounding the windows is blacked out as well. And there's also a nice trim piece just behind the front tire that goes all the way to the back tire there and then separates for the rear section. This is also a functional piece. So that air inlet that I mentioned that you can see in the front bumper will direct airflow around the tire. It will exit that trim piece. So it's nice to see that that is functional. There's some really nice lines running the height of the door handle there, and then some subtle lines down in the lower side skirt. And then making our way to the rear, you can see the BMW badge along with the backup camera. This has all the parking sensors. And then these LED taillights have a really nice dark housing to them, matching nicely with this exterior black. And you can see the connector bar running right through the middle of the power trunk just to tie it in nicely. There's also an off-gray trim piece separating the bodywork there and surrounding the dual exhaust on both sides. But let's work our way to the rear cargo area now. You can either use the button up underneath the BMW badge or hold the button on the key fob. It will automatically open up, and you'll see there's a ton of space. This is a very deep compartment, so it goes all the way into the back. There's tie-down hooks on both sides so you can safely secure any items. There's a storage pocket over on this passenger side, and then over on this driver's side here, we have access to some battery components. So definitely plenty of room, and with this power trunk, you can either close and lock it. If you push the one on the left, it will automatically close. And then working our way to the back seats now, you can lock and unlock this vehicle using the door handle, which makes it really convenient. And then moving on to the door panel now, you can see it's completely covered in black leather. Along with the brushed aluminum, you can see this wood trim piece, and this model also has the interior ambient lighting, so you can see that strip running across the top. This also has the 16-speaker Harman Kardon sound system. You can see this will pop out here if you need to use that. We have the grab handle on the inside of the door, and then on the armrest here you can see some sunshade adjustments, which I'll get to, along with the window control and a good amount of storage space in the lower section of the door. You can also see M down on the door sill, and with the 740, you get a really long door sill here. So we have plenty of legroom and a large opening to make it much easier to enter and exit. I am 5'10" and have no issues, and it's really nice to have that hidden grab handle to easily shut the door. And like I said, with the front seat set at my height, I can almost extend my legs here, plenty of room for my feet. And then above my head, I have around 3 or 4 inches, but it's a very comfortable and spacious place to be. Let's work our way back to these controls over on the door panel. So if I push on this button here, that is for the sunshade for the rear glass. So you can see that go up. If I push on it again, it will go back down. And then for the other one, we have the sunroof up top. So you can remove that sunshade and have that full open experience, minus the bar right in the middle, where you do have mirrors that you can pull down if you need to look at yourself, but you have the option to put those up and down. And then we do have the window control, of course, to be able to put that up and down as well. You'll see behind the front seats, we do have a little bit of storage space. And then right in the middle, we have 2 air vents along with all of your controls for your climate. So we do have a dual zone for the backseat passengers here, along with the heated seats. So you have that option where you'd like the air to go. You can see there's actually a good amount of storage space where you could place your phone or other items. And then in the very bottom section here, we do have a 12 volt along with 2 USB-Cs. So that way you can charge any electronics as needed. And even though it's during the day, you might be able to see the purple, which is the current light for the interior lighting. Really nice again to see that. Right in the middle, you can pull this entire armrest down and you'll see there's a good amount of storage space in the upper section of it. And then you can pop this out where you have 2 cup holders. They're actually a pretty good size too, so you can place some good sized drinks there. And then right in the middle, if I unvelcro this, you can gain access to the trunk space there. So if you have any longer items, you can easily put those through, and then you can Velcro this back into place and then close this armrest back up. And you'll see from back here as well, we have a good amount of visibility. The pillars are not all that bulky, so it definitely provides you with a lot of light for your backseat passengers. We even have a good amount of space right in the middle. So that is really great to see. And then as we work our way to the front seats now, the door handle is just like the back, of course, so you can lock and unlock it. And then we have that same design along with the addition of the memory seating adjustments. So you have those down below, along with a lot more storage space. We have the power trunk release, all of the window controls and the side mirror adjustments. And then lock and unlock is also finished off in brushed aluminum, giving it a really nice design. We have the same end badge down below. And then looking at these black Dakota leather seats again, we have the silver stitching, really nice design running down them. And then we have all the automatic controls down on the side. The front section of the seat is also automatic, so you can use that button there to further adjust the seat, which is really nice to see. And as we work our way in, the door sill is low, just like in the rear. So it makes it very convenient to enter and exit. And the steering wheel here is completely covered in black leather with black stitching. Gives it a great look, along with all of the brushed aluminum accents. But let's start the 740i up now. With my foot on the brake, we have that button over on the right side. We can bring this to life. And looking at this digital gauge cluster, you can see over on the left side is the fuel gauge and the miles per hour. On the right side is the tach and the engine temperature. You can also see the navigation front and center, which is very helpful to see. And then within that tach, you have a lot of different settings to go through using this top button over on the turn signal stock. So currently you can see music. If I push on it again, you can see the driving mode and what gear you're in. You can also pull up a live readout for the MPG. You can look at some individual data. You can also look at your live readouts for your horsepower and your torque. So if I give the vehicle some gas, you can see those adjust. There's also a G-force meter, so it's nice to have those within the tach. And then right above the M badge there, you can see this sensor here. That is for the facial recognition, so that way it can monitor if you're paying attention while you're driving and you have all of the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings on. So those buttons are located over on this left side where we have the distance pacing. This also has the assisted driving, and then you have different modes to go between the distance control as well as that assisted driving. This is a heated steering wheel. You can see that button down below along with the M badge. And then over on this right side, we have volume and tuning along with the Bluetooth and voice commands. And this also has the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters finished off in that brushed aluminum. As we work our way to the left side of the steering wheel, you'll see there's a good sized compartment down below where you can place smaller items if you need to. We have all the headlight and parking light adjustments, along with more wood trim, the interior ambient lighting, and more brushed aluminum. And then as we work our way to the middle, you can see this touchscreen system here has a lot of information that you can go into, and you can also use the controls down below. So we have shortcuts to your menu, along with your map and navigation, your media and phone, and then a few buttons on the back side there. So if I click on menu right now, this is your home screen basically, where you can look at your navigation along with music and phone. You can scroll over to some more individual data along with your traffic conditions and your compass. And then the last page here is the date and time along with the weather and any news that you like to look at. And then if I use that rotary dial, I can bump it all the way over to the left where you'll see all these presets. So you have media and phone. You can click on navigation to pull that up in full screen. If I go back to menu here, you can go into car, where you can go through a lot more settings. So under settings here, you can go through your seat, your climate controls, you can look at your interior lighting, which is how you can adjust that interior ambient lighting, which is really nice to see. You can look at your driver assistance, your different driving modes, go through all this information and configure how you'd like to have this vehicle set up. You can go into your carrying car, your driver profiles, even your owner's manual as well. And then the last icon is for your apps. This does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and then all these other apps that you can see just depending on what you'd like to put on your car. You'll see more of that interior lighting just above this wood trim piece. We also have the engine start-stop feature just underneath that. You'll see 2 air vents. We have a shortcut to the intelligent safety. So if I go all the way over to configure, you can look at your forward collision along with your side collision and lane departure. There's also the steering intervention, the blind spot as well. So it's nice to have all those technology features easily accessible. And you'll also notice too that we have the on-off for the air vents as well as the temperature. So you can see that arrow will follow my finger there, just depending on if you want it hotter in here or colder, and you can see exactly where it is. Really nice quick feature to have. You can see all the presets for the radio are just underneath that, along with power and volume. Tuning is over on that right side. And then there's a pretty good size LED screen here for all the climates as well as the heated and ventilated seats. So you can just tap on the screen here to adjust the fan speed. We have the different settings for the heated and ventilated seats, of course. And you do have the dials for the temperature for both driver and passenger. You have some other controls over on this left side here for where you'd like the air to go along with your recirc. Over on the right side here, we have sync and some other controls. So it's nicely laid out. And then right in the middle, you can see the wireless charging pad along with 2 cup holders, a USB and a 12 volt. You can also push on this once to hide your phone there. Push on it one more time, it will close entirely. Finish with more of this wood trim. And then as we work our way to the shifter here, the release is over on the left side. So if I push on that, put this all the way up into reverse, you will see the backup camera up here along with the top-down view. And this also has some shortcut points to be able to see around the exterior of the vehicle and then back to that camera setting. We do have the 3D view, so you can see around the entire vehicle. There's also some more shortcuts here to be able to do that. And this also has the gesture control. So if you have your hand in the same position as it shows you on the screen there, you can also do this to go around the entire vehicle or use the buttons that are over on this side here, which is great to see. The last setting is the car wash setting. You can use this to pull into a car wash, of course, or into a parking space or anywhere where you need a little bit more visibility from that top-down view. We can go all the way into drive, pop it over into the manual setting. That allows you to use these paddle shifters or the shifter itself. And you can just push the P, it will automatically go into park. Over on this left side, you can see the traction control as well as the different driving modes. So just by pushing on those, you will see the gauge cluster change for sport mode. If I put it back into comfort, it will change again. And then eco, it will change into blue. And you can see the entire tack change as well. So it's nice to see that. Also a small Easter egg, you can see the BMW colors over above the clock there. So that's great to see. We do have the parking sensors, which you can turn on and off. If I push on the second button, that is how you can access the forward-facing camera. And we do have the suspension here, which you can raise and lower just by pushing on that button. We have the electronic parking brake along with the auto hold assist. And then moving to the center armrest, you just push on that aluminum button and it will open up. You can see a 12 volt along with a USB-C and that split style. And then over on the passenger side, we have the glove box with a good amount of room for all of that information. And we'll take one last look at these seats. And then we'll take a look at the sunroof from the driver's seat here. We do have those controls up in the middle. You can also adjust the sunshade for your backseat passenger, so you can open and close it with these 2 buttons. And we have the dome lights on both sides of that. All right, so getting this 2022 BMW 740i out on the road. In sport mode there, we got up and moved. It's not a crazy fast car. The 740i is more on the luxury side. So we have all that space that you can see in the back there, which is really where you want to be in the 740i. But it's so luxurious with the suspension. It just feels like you're driving on a cloud. So we do have some sporty characteristics to it with the brakes. We have the different driving modes, but the suspension here is really what gives it more of that luxury side. and just providing you with that comfortable and quiet ride that you're looking for when you get this model. We even have these plush headrests that I just felt just adds to the comfort of these seats. It just makes it so relaxing to drive. It's super quiet too. There's hardly any road noise. Even these cars passing, it just gives you that surreal drive. You could drive this every single day. If you're putting a lot of miles on your vehicle, that's definitely a plus. You really want to be in the back seats though of the 740. With the amount of room that you have, you even have a ton of space in the trunk or the cargo area. So while the back seats in this model do not fold down, and you have that small entry and exit way right through the middle to put any longer items that you may have, you still have plenty of room. And I love the fact that in the back seats there, you can be much taller than me and still be comfortable, which is great to see. But aside from that, just driving this, I haven't done the adaptive cruise or anything so far, but just with the push of a button there, we have the cruise on and we have the assisted steering. Obviously you need to be paying attention. You need to have your hands on the wheel as well, but we do have these lights on both sides. Just to make sure that you are paying attention, they will light up. And at some point, if you don't have your hands on the wheel for an extended period of time, the vehicle will actually start to come to a complete stop. But it's really nice to have that technology. This has the full radar cruise, so it will come to a stop if you're following traffic, if you come up to a stoplight. Very helpful, especially in stop and go traffic situations. And then all the other tech that we have, the screen here has everything that you need. We have a really nice layout for the climate controls, as you've already seen. We'll put it back into sport mode here because we will be entering the highway, so we'll have an on-ramp. This is a pretty heavy vehicle, so it's not going to be the most nimble, especially coming around turns like this. So this isn't a mountain road kind of vehicle, but we can give it a little bit of gas as we merge, as we get there. Brakes do a good job. You can definitely feel the weight of this. And then getting up to speed here. Visibility is also really good. Looking over my left shoulder, I can see out of that back glass. Over my right shoulder, as I mentioned from the back seats there, the pillar's not really all that bulky. And then as we switch over to the POV angle, I'm gonna push on that button one more time. You can see the distance pacing will also pop up front and center. And we have the steering assist right now. You can see the graphics for the vehicles that are currently passing me. And from what we found in other BMW models that have had this technology, it will actually show a motorcycle. If a motorcyclist is passing, you can see a bicycle. You can also see a person pop up if there's a person on the side of the road. So the graphics are really cool. You can see how the vehicle is coming to a stop since we have a red light up there, and I can control the distance pacing, so I have it right in the middle there. So like I mentioned earlier, stop and go traffic, this is a great system to have, which I love to see. And we'll take a look at this interior here from this angle. Very top-notch quality with all the brushed aluminum, the wood trim, just gives it a great finish. And visibility real quick over the shoulder, you can get that perspective, as well as over this shoulder here. Definitely the place to be if you're putting a lot of miles on a vehicle. Now in this situation here, we have the top speed set at 31. So once that vehicle disappeared, this will accelerate to that 31 mark. And obviously you can set that depending on the speed limit. And then we caught back up to traffic, so it will slow down. I have found that the adaptive cruise is kind of finicky around turns, but that's to be expected. And that's with any vehicle really, simply because the vehicle in front has now got out of the range for that radar there. So we'll turn that off and put it into sport mode here. We'll give it a little bit of gas. Not a loud vehicle whatsoever. Obviously, like I mentioned, this is more on the luxury side, so you don't really have an exhaust note difference when you put it into sport mode. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for my walk around review and test drive, getting behind the wheel of this 2022 BMW 740i. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Charlotte for providing this luxury sedan for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website, that's down below. Give the video a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And we'll see you in the next video.